Hi everyone, it's Lottie from Cozy Paper Trails, and today I've got quite a long video for you. I don't know whether I'm going to be splitting this into two parts or whether it's just going to be one long video, but basically I'm going to do a full real-time chatty colour with me type video doing one of my Disney colour by number pages using Crayola Supertips. I did like a short little video on this which was about half an hour long, and I did most of it off camera. I sort of just talked you through how I approach a colour by numbers page, how I get less streaks with my Crayola Supertips and stuff like that. And I did ask if some of you wanted to see like a long, like more real-time full colour along type thing with a Disney colour by number book using my Crayola Supertips, and quite a few people said yes, so that is what I'm doing for you today. But as I said, I don't know whether I'll be doing this in one part or whether I will be doing it in two parts. I don't know yet because it might be quite a long video. It depends how long it takes me and stuff like that. But basically I'm going to be working in this book, which is Grand Classiques Tome 10, and this book I'm over halfway complete with. I have done I've done, well, over half of the pages in here, and I think I'm going to be doing this one here, which I think, is this from Coco? I'm not too sure. Let me have a look at the solutions. Yeah, this is from Coco, so I just thought I'd do the next one because I've completed all the pages before this one. I have done a few pages dotted around like here and there as well, or some that I've started but not finished yet. But I thought I'll just work on the next one in the book with you today. And with these books, you can, like this one for example, you can kind of see what that is already. It's one of the characters playing a guitar. I've not seen this film, so I have no idea who that character is. I don't know what the film's about at all. But this is the page that I'm going to be working on. And this is my basket of Crayola Supertips and water-based markers that I have. I can't really zoom out anymore, I don't think. No, it won't let me zoom out anymore. But that is my basket. So I'm going to put that next to me here. If you do want to see that short video I mentioned about, I do go into a bit more detail about my Crayola Supertips, what ones I've got and what water-based markers I've got. So I'll link that video in the description below and put a card on the screen for you as well, so that you can check that video out if you are interested. And I also use these Arteza black acrylic markers for the black outlines. I really like these. They come in a pack of 12 and they last a long time actually, and you can produce quite thin lines. Some bits are a little bit fiddly, but for the most part I really love these. So I will link these in the description below as well if you want to purchase these. I'll link them on Amazon for you. So I'm just going to start. So I start usually with the black outlines when I use my Crayolas because I feel like it just works a lot. It makes it easier to then colour the rest of the page because you kind of know what you're working with. So I'm going to start with this. So black is usually number 1, and it is in this case. So I'm just going to go over the entire black outlines. Some of the books have black outlines, some of them don't. Most of them do. I don't own any of the ones that don't, but then there are the odd pages which don't have many black outlines, and also there are some pages which don't have black outlines for the entire thing, like some of the elements are outlined in another colour. So I usually do those after I've done the black outlines. So I don't know if I've got an example in here, but sometimes parts are outlined in a different colour. Like this one for example. This cat is not outlined in black, she's outlined in grey, and this one. And I think this one's outlined in brown. And quite often like hair isn't outlined in black, it's outlined in like brown or a gingery colour or whatever. Yeah, I haven't finished those two. Yeah, oh, here's another example. The Alice in Wonderland, her hair is outlined in a brownie colour. So I usually work on that after I've done all the black outlines, just so that every single outline is done basically before I start actually colouring the rest of the page. I think there are some bits in this image as well which don't have black outlines, like this bit of the guitar here, that is H, which is, what is H? An orange colour. So I will get to that after I've done the black outlines, but yeah. They do tend to do a mixture. I prefer mostly black outlines because I feel like it's very bold. I think it just gives a good finish. I mean, you could outline even the bits that aren't in black, like the bits that are outlined in colours. You could do that. You could just colour them in black outlines. I think I've seen some other people do that, and that looks good as well. So you don't have to follow the colour code exactly. You can make changes if you would like to. I've already done this a little bit messy. It's because I'm not used to, like, I normally go really close up, like, when I'm colouring. But because I'm filming, I can't put my head as close to the page as I would normally. I'm just trying not to get my head in the shot, basically. But recently I haven't actually been using my Crayola Supertips for these pages. I've sort of got into acrylic markers, which I didn't think I would ever be saying. But I've got some acrylic markers to review soon. That'll be up on the channel next month. I think when this video goes up, I'll be on holiday. I'm just filming and editing this video in advance. If it goes up when I think it's going to go up anyway. Obviously plans can change depending if I get this video done on time. But yeah, I have got some acrylic markers to review soon. So there will be a video up on the channel, and I'm also hoping to get myself at some point, not quite yet, but at some point, a larger set of the acrylic markers. But I'm going to have to save up for those. But I will always really enjoy using my Crayola Supertips. So I think I will kind of flip between the two. Sometimes use acrylic markers if I fancy it. And then sometimes use my Crayola Supertips if I fancy it, and just use whatever I'm in the mood for. I like having options. But at the moment I'm definitely in my acrylic marker era. Really getting into those. They do take a bit longer. I feel like if you don't want to take as long on a page, then Crayola Supertips or water-based markers is the way to go. Because you could use coloured pencils for these pages, which some people do, and some people can do a really good job using coloured pencils. But I feel like for me, because I'd want to press quite hard to get like a really nice looking finish and like really burnish the pencil into the page, I feel like it would just really hurt my hands. I've used coloured pencils in a different style of colour by number book before, and I didn't enjoy it. My hands really hurt. It took me ages. So I don't use coloured pencils anymore for colour by numbers. Since I did that, I literally did it once and I was like, nope, not for me. That's too much hard work. But yeah, water-based markers is definitely the quickest way to go, I would say. Because you don't have to do more than one layer, you just do one layer and you're good to go. The colours are bold, they give like a good finish, although they can be quite streaky at times, but if you have the right technique then you can make them look much less streaky. Some of my older pages in this book, for example, look very streaky because I hadn't really worked out the right techniques at that point. But the pages still look good though, it doesn't really matter. The colours are just so bold with the Supertips that it doesn't matter as much. But obviously some people prefer a super smooth finish, in which case the acrylic markers are the way to go. It just depends. I think I've done that wrong. That's not supposed to be like that. I think I've done, you can zoom in. I think I've done the nail there completely wrong, so that's probably going to look terrible. Yeah, I wasn't supposed to do that. Never mind. I always end up making mistakes. That's just how it is. I made a mistake on this page already, but hopefully once it's coloured in it won't notice too much. The pages can still look good even if they're not perfect. So with like the super tips, for example, if you make a mistake, you've made a mistake. You can't really cover it up unless you've used a really light colour. But if you use acrylic markers, you can go over the mistake with paint pens, and 90% of the time you can cover it up really well. I used to use like the black Crayola Supertip or like a black water-based pen, like marker, like a felt tip pen for these black outlines, and one, they didn't look bold enough. They didn't look very bold. I've got some here, yeah, like these black outlines. They don't look as bold, do they? Some of these black, it's still quite black here, but it's just not as bold as these black outlines here. So I did switch to acrylic markers, and also with the, if you use a black like felt tip pen for the black outlines, they smudge quite easily when you use other pens next to it or over the top of it a little bit, if you know what I mean, like a colour next to it. You can drag the black into the rest of the other colour, which makes it look really muddy and not great. I don't know if these bits here are supposed to be black. This is when like I like looking at the solutions sometimes, because sometimes the finished image, they miss out bits sometimes. So yeah, here's the solution, and there are black lines here on this bit of the guitar, but here there's no numbers in it. So you would have thought to leave it white, but actually it does want you to do them in black. So I'll just ignore that. And sometimes the colours are actually wrong as well. Not like really wrong, but sometimes the shades are slightly off on these squares as to what it looks like in the solution. So sometimes it's good to, yeah, these squares, sorry. But sometimes it's good to go look at the solutions every now and again just to make sure you're getting the colours right, especially for skin tones. I feel like sometimes I follow the skin tones on the square, like these at the bottom, perfectly. I match the colours perfectly, and then it looks terrible. And then I look in the solutions and the colour is completely different to the swatch bit at the bottom, like the colour code. So I don't know why they're not always 100% accurate. I mean, most of the colours are fine, and some of the colours, if you get slightly off, it doesn't look too bad. But for a skin tone, for example, I feel like you need to get those right, otherwise the character just looks off, or the skin can just look a bit weird. Which I've made the mistake so many times with skin. Like, I am terrible at picking colours for the skin. I feel like I don't have a huge selection of skin tones. Even though I've got 2 skin tone sets of water-based markers, I still feel like they don't match the skin tones in the book. Like, they're just really hard to match. I haven't done any skin tones yet with acrylic markers, so I'll have to see if those are any easier to match, like if they tend to have better colours for skin tones. That would be interesting to compare. His hair is in, yeah, most of this has got black outlines, so that is good. Just means this part might take me quite a while. So if I do this video in 2 parts, I might do the outlining for part 1 potentially. It depends how long this takes me. And then the actual rest of it in a part 2, I don't know. We will see. Depends how much I get done, how quickly I get it done, and how long the footage is as well. Maybe these longer, like, colour with me videos don't get as many views, but it's fine. I kind of enjoy randomly chatting to the camera. It's kind of just quite relaxing. I like talking to myself anyway, because I'm weird like that. I've got some marks that have obviously smudged from something on the white bits, so I'll need to go over that at some point. Maybe with a white acrylic marker, just to blank those out a bit more. If you're looking for a white acrylic marker, I would recommend the Graby or Graby, however you pronounce it, white acrylic marker. Oh my gosh, I can try and link it in the description below if I remember. But it's so opaque. I've been using it on some of my other colouring pages, not like this style of colouring pages, but normal kind of colouring books that I use like coloured pencils in and stuff for like white accents and stuff. Oh, so much better than the gel pens I'd been using. Because I'd been using Jelly Roll gel pen and also a white Posca pen. I find they're not opaque at all, and they dry up really quickly. I find them really hard to work with. I don't really enjoy them, and I probably wouldn't repurchase them. But these other acrylic markers, although they're not as thin as some gel pens and that, but they give an amazing finish. They're so opaque, they go over any colour. I am obsessed. So I'll try and link it in the description below if I remember, but I will probably end up using these in some of my Disney Colour by Numbers for maybe some cleaning up mistakes on white sections and stuff like that. Like also these lines here, I think they're supposed to be white, and you can see, if I zoom in, you can see I've kind of gone over the line a little bit. I could then go in with the, ow, whack my elbow on the table. I could then go in with the white acrylic marker and just sort of clean it up at the end, which is probably what I will do, to be honest, because we're going over the edge a little bit. It just kind of cleans it up a little bit, gives it a good finish at the end. Some of these colour by number books, the white is like blank like this, which I like. But in some of the other books, they're all different. And some of the others, the white has like all these lines in, but obviously no number because they're to be left white. I don't like that, because then you've got to cover it up, whereas you could just leave it white here, especially because when you're using like water-based markers, you don't really want to then be left with all the squiggles that you can see on the white sections. It just looks a bit meh. So I like how this book and some of the other books leave it white. It just gives off a better finish at the end. If you're using acrylic markers, it's not too bad because you can cover it up. I mean, you can do that when you use water-based markers as well. You could cover it up anyway using an acrylic marker, but yeah, it's just an extra step that you don't really need to be doing. It doesn't stop me buying a book if it's like that. I'll still do it, but it's just an extra step and makes the page take a bit longer. Hard to like make sure I'm keeping this in frame, because I have to keep turning the book just so that I don't smudge my arm in a bit of the damp, like a bit that's not dried fully, which I've done many times. I did that on one of my acrylic marker pages that I did the other day, and I smudged black all onto a light section, which drove me nuts because I couldn't cover it back up because it was like a yellowy creamy section. Oh my god, I made that bit way too thick. What am I doing here? I'm trying to smooth it out, then it gets thicker and thicker. It's because this acrylic marker's like, I need to like clean the nib or something. coming out too much. Too much is coming out the nib. But if I use acrylic markers, I would do the black outlines last to clean it up at the end. But when I'm using Crayola Supertips, always do it first. This video is already like 21 minutes long. Well, I will cut some bits out, so it'll be... Well, I'm filming for 21 minutes anyway. So I potentially will put this in 2 parts. I'll try and upload them really close together though, so that you can just watch both sections at once. This is probably not the best page for me to do this, because I feel like this one might take a while because of all these fiddly bits. There are quite a lot of fiddly bits on this page. I maybe didn't pick great, but it's fine. And I may end up having to film some of this video back at home as well, because I probably won't have time at my mum's to finish this off, so I'll probably have to do some at home, but that's fine. It'll just be a different angle. So if you suddenly see me colouring from a different angle and the audio sounds a bit different, then that'll be why. So at my mum's house, I use my camera. I've got a Canon camera, and it's got like a special microphone, like not the built-in microphone in the camera, if you know what I mean. I've like bought a separate external mic for it. So the sound quality sounds a lot better. But then when I'm at home, I film on my iPhone. So I have to film in smaller chunks because my iPhone memory is terrible. Next time I upgrade my phone, I'm gonna definitely get one with more memory because it drives me nuts. Apparently my phone's like memory is full, not because of photos and videos, even though I've got tons of photos and videos on my phone, but apparently that's not what's taking up most. What's taking up most of it is apparently apps and like Instagram and stuff like that. How do I make them take up less memory? I need to do some research, because I know that I use CapCut for my reels and stuff, so I delete that app sometimes and then reinstall it, and that deletes all the data on it, so then it takes up less storage. So sometimes I do that, but I don't want to have to delete Instagram because I've got like 4 Instagram accounts and I don't want to have to keep logging into each one every single time, because that'll just drive me mad. So I don't know why applications take up so much space, and then quite a lot of space is obviously taken up by the phone, like iOS or whatever it is, like the phone, I don't know, stuff that's built into the phone that you can't delete. Quite a lot of that's taken up already, like there's nothing you can do about that. It's just annoying. I'm not very great with technology, so it's just trial and error really, but yeah, I use my iPhone to film at home. I recently got a new stand. I was using this like bulky ring light that was a bit wobbly and you could never get the angle completely right. So I managed to get rid of that, sold it on Facebook Marketplace, and I'd bought myself a new one on TikTok shop, and it's actually really good and it doesn't take up much room at all. It's like a selfie stick tripod thing. So I'm concentrating on these bits. These bits are so fiddly. Yeah, like a tripod thing. It's got like a selfie stick on it, which I won't use. But like the clicky thing to take a picture, I probably won't ever use that, but I use it for the stand, and it's got like rechargeable ring lights you can clip on either side, which is quite cool. So that's now what I use to film when I'm at home. Definitely really need a thinner pen for these bits, but it still works. This bit's going to be fiddly. All these little fiddly bits here. Zoom you in. Look at these. Going around all that's going to be really hard. I've not got a huge amount of black outlines left. I've got his like face area and just around this bit here of the guitar, and then all the outlines will be done. Yeah, and then just him to do, and then we can move on and add some colour, which is what I like. That's the fun part. Black outlines can be quite therapeutic. Sometimes I can just be in the mood for just doing the black outlines. I just kind of want to outline a page ready for when I want to colour it. So it's quite relaxing, or it can be, but then other times I just find the black outline part really boring, so it's just whatever mood I'm in. But some pages really do take ages to do the black outlines, depending how intricate it is and how many black outlines there are. This one's not too bad, although there are quite a few intricate bits. It could be worse. At least most of it will be outlined already, like I don't have to outline his hair in a different colour and stuff like that. But if his hair was outlined in a different colour, I would do that straight after the black outlines before I colour in any of the rest, probably. Or actually, sometimes easier for the page to be upside down, just depends what part you're colouring. When I do the colour, you can kind of mostly keep it upright, but it depends, because you need to kind of be quite close to the lines to be able to see them all. Is that a bit? I really like when you get to draw in the eyes with the black outlines and that, because it really, then you can see the character, although this character I think's got his eyes closed, so it won't be quite the same. Yeah, I'm doing his eye now. You can't really see what I'm doing from above. Oh, it's annoying. I need to move this basket because I can't put the book exactly how I want to. That's better now. I can actually lay that bit more flat. Right. Oh, just banging into the camera. I'm trying to get close because this bit's quite fiddly. Is Coco a good film? Is it worth a watch? It's never really appealed to me, but I don't know if it's worth giving it a go. I don't even know what it's about, apart from there's like those skeleton looking things. This is like a skull on the end of his guitar. That's literally all I know. I don't know anything about the film. I think it's music related, but I have no idea. If it's worth a watch, let me know. Oh, God, I've done that a bit thick. Quite a lot of those bits are a bit too thick at the moment. Looks fine when it's done though, you don't notice. I think this exact pen that I'm using is just, the nib's gone slightly weird. Normally the nibs are really good on these pens, but sometimes they play up slightly. But I still really recommend these pens. Although I have bought a thin Posca pen to try out at some point for the black outlines. I was thinking of doing a video like the battle of the black pens, so I can compare lots of black pens for the outlines to see which one is best. So I've also got the gravy ones to try out. You know, I said I had the white ones. I've got the black acrylic markers that came with it to try out as well. So I could include that in the video. Compare it with this, compare it with some other pens I used to use. Maybe compare it with the black Languo gel pen as well. And just compare them all and see which one is actually best for black outlines. That might be quite a good video idea and something interesting for myself to find out and experiment with as well. And I could also do a battle of the white acrylic marker as well. Which one's the most opaque? Which one takes the least layers to get it to cover up stuff? That'd be quite interesting. Because that would be handy for both colour by number books and regular colouring books as well. Because lots of people use white pens in colouring books for like accents and details, myself included. So that'd probably be quite an interesting video to do. Okay, I think is that all the black outlines? But look how much of a good guide that gives you. You can really then see what the image is, and you can see the elements a bit better. So although the background usually doesn't have any black outlines, this, like the actual main part of the image does. So it just makes it a lot easier to colour. So I'll leave that as that. What I might do is start adding colour in this part, and then maybe do a part 2, because otherwise I think this video is going to be super long. So I might start adding some colour now. And I usually start with the lighter colours and then work to darker colours. So I might start with this yellow. So what I do normally, so I can't really show you my basket because, yeah, it's a bit big. But normally I just pick out some pens which I think might be quite close to that colour, and then I just do a little swatch and decide then which one I'm going to use. So I think I'm going to use that yellow because that one looks a bit more orangey toned, so I think I'm going to use this one. And the thing is, with Crayola Supertips I can't tell you what colour I'm using because they don't have numbers on. Some people number their pens, but I think that would just take way too long. So I can't tell you exactly what colour I'm using. You'll have to match it yourself if you are colouring along. But yeah, so J is yellow. So I've got to find all of the J bits, which I think is a lot of this background. So this might be quite fiddly. But the good thing about using acrylic marker for the background, for the black lines, also is that you can go over, you could scribble over it like this and it wouldn't smudge it once it's dry. Once it's dry, it's dry. You don't need to worry about avoiding it, whereas if you use like a black felt tip and then you scribbled over a little bit of the black line, it would just smudge it really badly. Which is what I used to do, and I used to get lots of smudges and it would just look really muddy and messy. So I won't be doing that ever again. I prefer using acrylic markers for the black outlines. It's just much cleaner. I could zoom you in a bit more actually, so you can kind of see a bit more of what I'm doing. But the reason I start with the lighter colours is just because sometimes if there's like a darker colour next to the lighter colour, so like there was some green around here and then you go in with the yellow, it can then sometimes smudge the green into the yellow and then it looks a bit muddy and messy. So I usually tend to start with the lighter colours, any light yellows, really light blues, light beigey colours, I usually start with them first. There's not actually as much yellow as I thought there was going to be initially. There's a few random splodges. If I miss any, that's fine. I just leave the pen here, and I usually leave them in a tray in the order of the colours at the bottom, just so that then you can pick the colour back up if you've missed a section, and then you can continue. So I think that's all the J's that I can see. Oh no, seen another bit. That always happens. That bit's yellow as well. Okay, and then I might do the orange. So I'm going to find some oranges and try and match. That looks quite accurate actually already. Let's just try another one. Oh no, that's like F actually, so I think I've got the next two colours. Let's just try another, just in case, because that one's quite dark. Oh, actually, is that one better? That might be better. So I'm going to use this orange for H, which is, there is an outline sort of around the guitar here. So I'm just going to outline that. And these Crayola Supertips are really good with when you want to outline and do like intricate parts, which is one reason I really like using these. They're really good for little details because they've got the nib, the pointy bit at the tip of the pen. Really handy. So you can do thick strokes with these pens, you can do thin strokes. They're very, very versatile. And I know a lot of people use these pens to base normal colouring pages as well. I will put a link in the description below to the set of Crayolas that I have. I've got a few different sets actually, but I will link some of them in the description below as well. I'll also link this book in case you're interested. I'll just link anything I've used in this video or spoken about pretty much. I'll try and remember to link everything. What else is H? Is there anything else? Oh, there are like bits, all swirly bits down here as well. Around these yellow bits, there's loads of this colour. Do I feel like I've done this a bit dark? No, maybe this is the right colour, I don't know. Never mind. I don't always get the colours completely right. It doesn't always matter. The end image still looks good, but I try and match as close as I can. It's so hard to colour match in these books because some of them have so many colours. I did, a couple months ago, I did the Casita page in tome 11, if you've got that book or seen that page. Oh my gosh, there were so many colours. That page took me forever. And some of the shades I didn't have anything like it, so I ended up having to use some colouring pencils for a couple sections, which made it look slightly weird, but I just didn't have anywhere near the correct colour for a couple parts. So I did end up using some Castle Arts pencils as well. But that was a challenge. That probably took me about a week of working on it to get that done. That was a long one. Oh, I've just seen another bit here that was supposed to be yellow. I'm just going to grab my yellow pen. Definitely should have picked a less detailed page for this colour along, but it's fine. I'm sorry if you can hear my laptop whirring in the background. It's not doing anything, so it shouldn't be whirring. It's getting loud all of a sudden. Hopefully you can't really hear it. And the way I colour these sections as well, I'll show you better when I get to some of the bigger sections, because that will be easier to show you what I mean. But I don't know if you can really see what I'm doing here. I outline the section with the super tip and then just colour in the middle. That wasn't the best bit to show you. When I get to a larger section, I will show you a bit better what I do and how I do it, but that's all the H's in that section. And then there's more over this side and floating over his leg. Are these supposed to be like flames or something? Oh, hiccups. I swear I always end up hiccuping or sneezing in my videos. I did have some brownie with my lunch, so if I've got indigestion, that's probably why. I have a massive sweet tooth. I did a tag video recently that went up on my channel, and one of the questions was, would you rather eat sweet food? No, would you rather give up salt or sugar? And oh, I'd have to give up salt, which would be That'd be hard because meals can taste quite bland if there's like 0 salt. Like you wouldn't want to eat crisps without salt or things like that. But yeah, sweet tooth for sure. Even though sugar is probably worse for you than salt, because like a little bit of salt's fine. We need a little bit of salt in our diet, but sugar is definitely not necessary. But for me mentally it is necessary. I love it. My mum is a cake maker and cake decorator, and she makes so many gorgeous cakes and tray bakes. It's a wonder that I'm not overweight because, oh yeah, yum yum yum. And I do taste test quite a lot of her stuff. But anyway, just rambling on about cakes and stuff. I've nearly done all of these bits, I think. Just got a couple more bits to do over here. Oh, there's a couple bits up here actually as well. This orange. Just concentrating a minute rather than thinking of what to say, because I'm just concentrating on all these little swirly bits. Obviously with the super tips you can still see the numbers underneath unless it's a dark colour, and again that really bothers some people. So obviously using water-based markers isn't the most popular option for these books, but I'd say it's the cheapest and the quickest, because if you get a set of the 150 Crayola Supertips, which is what I've got, I think it's like $26.99 or something like that, which is so much cheaper than a large set of acrylic markers. You'll be paying like a quarter of the price. And you can still achieve good results. The colours are bright. So if you can't afford acrylic markers or they're just not for you, I would definitely recommend trying out some Crayolas or something like that. I know there's also another brand called Fiber Tips or something, which I've seen on Amazon and I've seen some other people use on YouTube as well, and they look extremely similar to Crayola Supertips. Apparently they basically are Crayola Supertips, just a different brand name, and I think the nibs are slightly thicker or slightly thinner or something. I'm not too sure. I've not used them myself, so that could be a complete lie. But apparently they're just as good. So that's also an option as well if the Crayolas aren't available where you are, or they might be a bit cheaper, I don't know. I haven't really looked into them because I don't feel like I need them when I've got the Crayolas. But you could look into getting those as well. Are they called Fiber Tips? I'm going to have to look up. Let me just Google it. Just going on Amazon quickly now. Fiber Tips felt tip pens. No, they're not called Fiber Tips, I don't think. I'm thinking of the Staedtler ones. Oh, what are they called? They're like, oh, let me look up Crayola Supertips. I think it came up. I honestly can't find them. I definitely know, I don't know if they are called that now. I'm like second guessing myself. What I'll have to do is I'll have to find them at some point. There definitely is ones that are basically just like Crayola Supertips, but I can't find them right now. I'll try and find them at some point, and I'll try and link them in the description below in case the Crayolas aren't available or something like that. Then you could get those instead. But yeah, I honestly can't remember if that's what they're called. They're called something. It's going to bug me now, but I'll have to find them. I had saved them in my wish list at one point, but I got rid of them because I didn't need those with the Crayolas. But Yeah, I'll link them below. So that I think is all the, oh no, nope, I'm wrong. There's some more H over here on these like triangle bits. But as you can see here, I don't know if you can see, oh sorry, you're not even in thing. So I'm zooming a little bit. You can just kind of do this and you can scribble over the black acrylic marker quite easily. And it just makes colouring this, the rest of it, a lot easier. Now there's lots of fiddly bits here. Lots of fiddly bits. I might do like all the oranges now. Like in a minute, the other orange tones and these sort of tones at the bottom, these sort of ones. I might do all of that first. Oh, these bits are really fiddly. Look at all these tiny little squares. But with the Crayola Supertips, you can do it really well. I also do use sometimes fine liners in these books, but I don't feel like I necessarily need it, although I could use it for these bits. But some pages have really intricate details, and that's where the fine liners can come in really handy. So I've got a pack of, I think they're the Staedtler fine liners. I'll potentially link them in the description below as well if I remember. But they can be really handy alongside the water-based markers for some thinner bits or even some outlines and stuff like that. They can be very handy. What I might do, I might just cut out me doing these for a second because I'm just going to focus on getting these bits done quickly and then I will be back. Okay, zoom out, there we go, that's how it's looking at the minute. I've done all of the back shade and now I'm going to move on and do F, which I think is again some more bits of the like fiery flamey type bits, so I'm just going to do those bits next. I tend to like doing, so say like I start with all of the yellows and oranges, I might do that first, and then when I do the blues, obviously I start with the lightest blue and then I just do the rest of the blues. I tend to work in colour groups for these pages, but then sometimes I just work in order, usually from this side to this side, or I don't know, it just depends. I just do it in a variety of different ways, but as a general rule, start with more of the lighter colours, at least of each colour group. Like start with the lightest colour. It's not actually as much of this colour. There's a few bits, but not as much. What's 0? Purple, so these bits in between here are a purpley colour. I think there's quite a lot of purples in the background from what I could see. Oh, I've missed a section of H. I definitely prefer the brighter pages in this book. I mean, this one's bright because it's got a lot of bright colours, but some pages in these books are very dark. There's not many, like quite most of the pages in these books are very vibrant. But there's the odd page which is just super dark and I have no interest in colouring. Don't know if there's any in this one, but I will do it. Like this one's quite dark. I'm not really a fan of that. Or like this one here, quite dark, a bit boring. This, Pinocchio, a bit dark. I'm not a fan. But most of them are pretty bright, which is good. Yeah, there's not many, especially in this book. This was my first ever Disney Colour by Number book, tome 10. That's why I've got so many done in it, because I used to just sit and colour loads of them and I just colour the book from front to back. So I ended up just getting so many done. I don't know how long ago, maybe a couple of years ago I bought this, I can't remember. But it's my goal to finish this. I doubt I will finish it this year because I've still got maybe 40 pages left. I mean, I could get it done this year, but that's quite a big undertaking, especially as I want to colour in some of my other books. So yeah, I'll probably complete this book some point next year, and then I can do like a full flip through of all my coloured pages in this book, which would be cool. It would just be cool to have a colouring book complete, because I don't know about you, but I never finish a colouring book. Very, very rare that I would ever finish a colouring book. It's because, yeah, it would just take too long, and then maybe you get bored of it after you've coloured in it too much, or you do all your favourite pages, and then, or you just get other books that are more interesting to you at the time. I never end up finishing a colouring book. But my husband, he says, like, why don't you colour a colouring book from back to front, and then when the book's complete, then you can buy another colouring book. I was like, who does that? I mean, some of you might do that, which honestly, that's amazing. If you do, like, you must have so much patience, but I could never. I would definitely get bored. Plus, just seeing all these lovely colouring books out there, it's like really hard not to get them for yourself or want them for yourself, and just one colouring book being enough for you is like, I don't know, really hard, especially with the amount of YouTube I watch as well. I'm always exposed to content with new colouring books and stuff like that. Obviously it's just tempting. And then Vinted exists, which is like a second-hand, like an online app where people can sell things second-hand. People sell colouring books on there, brand new or like one page completed. You can get really good bargains. So that's where I get quite a lot of my colouring books, to be honest. I buy quite a few second-hand because it's so much cheaper. And if you use your Vinted balance on there, if you have Vinted, you'll know what I mean, but when you sell things on there, you get like a balance to spend, which you can either withdraw into your bank account or spend on the app. But when I spend money on the app, it's basically free. You're getting free stuff, basically. That's how I look at it. That's girl math. But yeah, I think I've done all of the F now. As far as I can see, I can any of this dark orange. So what is next? I've got these colours. Oh, this is skin. Oh no, I don't know if I'm ready for doing skin. I find skin just so hard. Maybe I'll do red next instead. That red's probably not dark enough. Let's pick a different red. That one. There we go. I'm going to do B next, which is a red, and then maybe I'll tackle the skin after. I'm just not ready. I don't enjoy doing skin. Like picking the colours. Like colouring is fine, obviously, but picking the colours is just really hard. B. What am I looking for? It's on his jacket. Hoodie. There's a stripe of 4 on this jacket. What's 4? Light blue. Oh, maybe I should have done that first. Okay, maybe I'll go back and do the light blue first before I do this. So I'm going to pick out a light blue. And for light blue, I quite often use these Tombow pens because I find that the Crayola Supertips doesn't have a super light blue. So I think I'm going to use one of these. Yeah. I'm going to use one of these. I'm going for this one, which I can tell you what the shade is. It's 491. They do have colour names, but I don't know, they don't have the colour name written on them, which is annoying. But shade 491, I think I got this off eBay. You can buy them individually. But I'm just going to use this for the lighter bits first, just because then I don't smudge it in like I was saying. Start with the lighter colours. I don't know what these bits are. There may be some sort of reflection or something, because it's on his skin here as well. So it makes me think it's like a light reflection or something like that. These Tombow pens, I find they're quite streaky on this paper. I don't know what they're like on other paper, but I don't think they're worth the price. But it's the only water-based markers I could find. Ooh. That's meant to be left white. I can go over that with an acrylic marker though. what was I saying? Yeah, it's the only water-based markers that I could find that you can purchase open stock. And I just wanted a couple more light blue colours. And I think I'm going to have problems with acrylic markers with finding colours like replacements, because you can't buy them open stock. I don't know if there are any companies or any brands that do sell them individually that I could then replace them with a different brand. I'm going to have to look into it. There must be someone that does individual acrylic markers, surely. If you know of any, let me know in the description, in the comments, because that would be really handy to know. I'm going to have to do some research, I think. Because there's like some colours like the light blues, which you use regularly and a lot of, I'm going to run out, and then it's like, what do you do then? Oh, gurgling. Don't know if that picked that up on camera, probably, because this microphone's quite strong. Strong, is that the right word? This microphone picks up everything. Some more here. Just trying to make sure, see if I've missed any. Is there any here? No. On this, yep, on his other hand. And also I find these Tombow pens, the nib doesn't, like, you can't work as precisely as with the Crayola Supertips. But I recommend getting the odd one to replace colours. But I don't think I'd ever buy a full set of the Tombow pens. They're okay, but I don't think they're anything super special. Oh, I just realised lots of this background is actually this colour as well. I'll just outline each section and colour it in, basically. These I'm assuming are windows, so it's obviously the blue on the skin, and that is obviously light reflecting through the window, I would assume. Because sometimes when you first colour and you're like, blue on the skin, that's going to look weird. But then once the picture's completely done, it makes sense. And the picture ends up looking good in the end. Just have to trust the process sometimes and just go along with it. And sometimes when you do one part of these pages, it looks a bit weird. You're like, oh, that stands out and looks a bit odd. But then once you actually complete the page and do a lot more, it ends up looking fine in the end. You just have to trust the process. So I've got some dirty marks on this bit. I don't know if you can see it. It's obviously smudged from some pen on the other side. I must have smudged it at some point. But it's fine. I think that's why I wanted to use Crayola Supertips for this page, because I've used Crayolas on the page opposite, and I feel like that would probably, if I used acrylic markers on this page, it would probably smudge onto it and cling to it and make a right mess. So this was a good one to do my Crayola video on. That's all of that, and then there's another window here behind him. I'll probably do the red on the jacket in a second, and then I will probably leave this part here and then do the rest in part 2. That's probably a good like stopping point, because I feel like I've done a good amount. There we go, perfect. That looks good. And then, yeah, jacket. I was doing B, wasn't I? Which is the red bits of the jacket. I just stopped to do the blue. I find the reds are one of the least streaky colours. I really like colouring reds in these books, because they don't leave many streaks. They look really clean and nice. The ones that leave the most streaks are probably like dark browns and dark greens and dark blues. They probably show streaks the most, I would say. But there, I was just sort of scribbling, but you can't see streaks. But my technique for other colours would be different to this, but the reds I can kind of just scribble. And then here, the bit on his sleeve. don't know if there's any more in that colour, or is it just, is that it? That might be it. Okay. I'll zoom out. So that is where I am now. I'm going to stop here. Probably going to stop filming and edit this video now. And then when I film part 2 though, I think I may film this at home, because I don't think I'm going to have time to film part 2 at my mum's. So it will look slightly different. The sound quality and the video quality might look slightly different. So I apologise if that annoys you, but yeah. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe if you want to be notified about part 2. I hope you found the video helpful anyway, or just even put this video on as a bit of background noise when you're colouring, because I like doing that with videos like this. Sometimes I just put them on in the background while I'm colouring. It's quite nice just to listen to other people sometimes, like talking and stuff. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Thank you if you got this far into the video, because it's probably quite a long one, and I'll hopefully see you in part 2. Bye for now.